If you've been in the anime community for long enough, chances are you've probably seen these very low resolution pictures with tons of different numbers on them, and at the very top they usually say blank filler guide. Their occurrence is commonplace when talking about a pretty long shonen anime and sometimes even manga. There are even articles and videos in which episodes or chapters you should skip while experiencing something. Hell, there is even a whole dedicated website around this same subject. And whenever I come across these kinds of things, I always think to myself, aren't fillers the best part? Okay, maybe not the best, but certainly not worthy of skipping. This guy considers half of Cowboy Bebop to be fillers, while episode 23 might be my favorite episode, where Spike tracks down a cult leader, and at the end, the show gets really philosophical about the creation of God and us humans' role in it. Similarly, tons of my friends consider the first half of JoJo Part 4 to be filler, while it has some of the best storytelling I've seen in anime. My goal with this video is to talk about some of my favorite quote-unquote filler episodes and explain why they shouldn't be considered one, and why I'll still watch as many as anime throws at me. First up, as the guy who can't shut up about a certain anime slash manga and is planning to get it tattooed, I should probably talk about JoJo. For those of you who don't know, JoJo is about buff dudes doing buff things like beating people up and even more beating people up. I know it's insane, but seriously, it's about really ripped guys and girls who battle other people with the help of a stand. A stand being a physical manifestation of their soul that can take any form. In their quest, they're accompanied by other people, usually referred to as Jobros, who have to battle an extremely strong stand user called a Jofo, which for me have mostly been the more interesting side of the show. One thing I commend JoJo for is that it constantly changes its scenery. Seriously, you can go from England to Italy to Japan, Egypt, and tons of other places in the span of a dozen episodes, which keeps the setting fresh at all times. This means that our main characters aren't always under the threat of the main bad guy and can sometimes be up to other things, leading to, as you guessed it, filler episodes. One episode in particular I've seen tons of people online and even friends I've recommended to say it's an unneeded filler is episode 16 of part 4, where our main characters Josuke and Jotaro go hunting. No, not that kind of hunting, this kind. Yup. One thing I didn't mention while talking about stands was that stands aren't limited to people, and throughout the show we see tons of animals and even plants having stands. In this episode in particular, we see Josuke and Jotaro go after two rats who control the sniper stand. I know, just bear with me. The episode retains a fairly lighthearted tone throughout, which I very much enjoyed. Until this happens. For those of you who don't know, this guy who just got hurt and nearly killed by a rat is motherfucking Jotaro. He's one of the strongest people to have ever been in JoJo. He has defeated the legendary Dio, that's how strong he is, and so many more other stand users. Seeing him helpless against the rat is some of the best world building I've seen in JoJo. By doing this, the creator is telling us that being a human or even a big creature has no relation to how strong one's stand is. Although Jotaro is physically bigger and stronger than a rat, stands are controlled by one's mind alone, giving fights in JoJo that extra edge, because no matter how strong the heroes may be, you still can't be sure they'd succeed in fighting their opponents. I guarantee you, from now on, you'll be a lot more stressed watching the battles in JoJo, because you've known your favorite characters are vulnerable. Filler episode. Okay, so the next example I'm going to show you falls into the that's so cool and nice and cute, damn that's like so funny category. Episode 12 of Samurai Champloo is a recap episode, and before you say anything, it genuinely is pretty fucking good. The episode starts off with the gang Mugen, Jin, and Fu going to an onsen. Fu goes into the water, and in the meantime Mugen decides to read her diary in hopes of gathering some info about the samurai that smells of sunflowers, the person they're trying to find. And it's here where Fu and Manzo, another character in the story, recap the events that had happened up to that point. I don't know if you've seen Champloo or not, but shit goes down in that show, so watching a recap episode which was extremely creative and funny, with Manzo even talking about current period Japan and its history, was really fun. The episode even has a unique 3-minute ED with the song Who's Theme by Nujabes, which I absolutely adore. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Shinichiro Watanabe is a master at fillers. Aside from the recap, the baseball episode 2 is a whole lot of fun, and going to another one of his shows completely, the Toys in the Attic episode in Cowboy Bebop is also pretty damn creative, following Spike as he tries to track down a creature which is made from rotten food in the fridge, which led me to think about this very video. So before we move on to the end of the video, I just want to quickly give a spoiler warning for JoJo Part 5. I know, I should give other examples, but I still haven't watched that many anime, and JoJo means a lot to me, so skip to this timestamp if you don't want to be spoiled. The reason I made this video in the first place is because I was rewatching a scene from JoJo. I know, shocking. Specifically JoJo Part 5, Abakio's death. This whole scene bothered me back when I first watched it. Although extremely emotional and beautiful, the ending was rather strange. Abakio tries to print out the face of Bosu, boss, with his stand and succeeds in it at the cost of his life. After he passes away, Giorno finds a small piece of rock in his hand, which once traced back, reveals Boss's face. I say this scene bothered me because it didn't have any effect on the story whatsoever. The boss, aka Diavolo, shows his face himself, so there was no need for that print in any way. It's not like in part 4 where it's a small town and the killer is disguising himself and you need a face to identify him. No. Rendering Abakio's sacrifice meaningless. It was only after rewatching the scene for the 5th or possibly 6th time where it dawned on me that it doesn't matter at all. Not everything has to have a grand effect on the main plot. Abakio died fighting for his teammates, and that's what matters. The fact that he came to terms with his past trauma, although a bit late, still meant something. Which is why at this point you may say, well, not all filler episodes, scenes, whatever, necessarily flesh out our characters or impact them in any way. After all, filler was created with the intention of the anime not catching up to the manga, leaving most of them to be really uneventful and just lengthen their journey. But isn't that the whole point? We watch anime because we want to escape from our really busy and oftentimes stressful lives, and sometimes just to kill time. We take pride in our favorite characters winning their battles, and we always get sad when we have to say goodbye to them. So is a few episodes, a few hours more of being on the journey and spending just a little more time with the characters we love that bad? At the end of the day, I'll always have time for seeing Josuke and Okuyasu up to some shenanigans and Jin and Mugen going toe to toe with each other, as these really heartful moments are the reason I watch anime.